Ghost in the Void. The holographic display cast an eerie blue glow across Captain Maya Chen's face as she studied the Vex patrol routes. Alone in the cramped cockpit of her ship, the experimental vessel Phantom, she tracked the alien armada through Saturn's rings. The ship's environmental systems hummed softly, the only sound in the emptiness of space that had become her home for the past 8 months. Patrol formation unchanged, Maya noted in her log. Predictable as always. 8 months since Earth fell. 8 months since the massive Vex warships appeared without warning in Earth's orbit, their crystalline hulls gleaming like polished obsidian against the atmosphere. 8 months since humanity was reduced from billions to scattered thousands hiding in the shadows of their own world. Maya remembered the day with painful clarity. She had been at Callisto Station, overseeing the final tests on Phantom, humanity's most advanced stealth vessel, when the first reports came in. The Phantom project had been her life's work, a ship equipped with quantum displacement technology that rendered it completely invisible to all known detection systems. Captain Chen, Fleet Admiral Harrison, had said during their final transmission, his face grim through the static. Earth's orbital defenses have failed. Our major cities are gone. This is no longer a test mission. It's survival. Your orders are to remain hidden, gather intelligence, and when possible, strike back. You're now our ghost in the void. The transmission had ended with the destruction of Lunar Command. Maya was left alone with humanity's most advanced weapon and the weight of an impossible mission. The memories faded as Phantom's AI brought her back to the present. Captain, Vex supply convoy approaching detection range. Estimated arrival: 6 minutes. Maya straightened in her seat. Engage full quantum displacement. The quantum displacement field activated with barely a flutter of the ship's systems. The technology didn't just bend light around the vessel like old stealth systems. It shifted the entire ship partially out of phase with normal spacetime, making it utterly undetectable. Let's see what they're shipping today, Maya whispered, directing Phantom to intercept the convoy. 3 massive Vex transport vessels moved in perfect formation, their escorts positioned at mathematically precise intervals. Maya had learned that the Vex were creatures of absolute order. Their rigid hierarchy and inability to adapt quickly to unexpected situations was perhaps their only weakness. Phantom silently glided between 2 escort ships, close enough that Maya could see the crystalline growths that covered their hulls. The Vex themselves remained mysterious. No human had seen one and survived, but their technology was organic crystalline, growing and adapting rather than being built. Maya activated Phantom's specialized scanning array. Information flooded her screens: cargo manifests, crew rotations, communication protocols. Most valuable of all were the navigational data showing the convoy's destination, a major processing facility on Titan, where the Vex converted Saturn's moon's resources into more of their crystalline technology. That's my next target, Maya decided. Over the past months, she had conducted 7 sabotage operations across the solar system. Small strikes that appeared to be accidents or system failures, nothing that would reveal a human presence. A navigational buoy reprogrammed to send ships off course. A cooling system disabled at precisely the right moment to cause a non-catastrophic but crippling overload. The Vex never suspected a ghost was haunting them. 3 days later, Maya positioned Phantom near the Titan facility. The massive structure glittered against the moon's methane lakes, its crystalline spires reaching into the thin atmosphere. Begin environmental scan, Maya ordered. Phantom's systems revealed a vulnerability. The facility's atmospheric regulators operated on a predictable cycle. Every 6 hours, the system momentarily reset, creating a 30-second window where the crystalline growth was vulnerable. Perfect, Maya whispered. She deployed one of her specialized drones. Tiny machines also protected by quantum displacement technology. The drone infiltrated the facility during the reset window and injected a modified crystalline growth accelerant into the regulators. Within hours, the Vex's own technology would grow out of control, forcing them to abandon the facility until they could regain control of the runaway growth. As Maya retreated to a safe distance, she intercepted Vex communications. Processing Unit Titan 3. Status abnormal. Growth rate exceeding parameters. Analysis? Unknown. Awaiting instructions from Central Command. Maintain observation. Command will dispatch assessment unit. Take no independent action. That last part was key. Maya had noticed this pattern in every Vex encounter. Lower ranks never acted without explicit instructions from above. Their hierarchical efficiency became paralysis when faced with the unexpected. 2 weeks later, Maya studied the results of her operation from the safety of Neptune's orbit. The Titan facility had been completely abandoned, its crystalline structures growing chaotically into useless formations. Vex supply lines throughout the outer planets were disrupted as resources were diverted to contain the malfunction. Maya accessed her tactical database and marked potential targets for her next operation. Each small strike weakened the Vex grip on the solar system. Each successful mission taught her more about their weaknesses. A transmission caught her attention, not Vex communications, the human. Using Phantom's specialized receivers, Maya had maintained contact with the growing resistance on Earth and the outer colonies. The message was heavily encrypted, but its meaning clear. The ghost strikes again. Titan facility lost. Vex supply lines disrupted. Resistance cells report decreased Vex patrols in European sector. Hope spreads. Maya hadn't intended to become a symbol, but reports of her operations had spread among surviving humans. They called her the Ghost, a lone avenger striking from nowhere, vanishing without a trace. Maya knew the truth was less romantic. She was one person in one ship, fighting a desperate guerrilla war against an overwhelming enemy. But symbols mattered. Hope mattered. Another transmission appeared on her screen, this one from the Vex command frequency she monitored. The translation software worked through the alien language structure. Anomaly assessment complete. Probability of systematic sabotage. 86.3%. Deploy hunter units to all outer system installations. Locate source of disruption. Maya's pulse quickened. The Vex were finally catching on. They didn't know what they were looking for, but they knew something was out there. Time to change tactics, she told herself. For months, she had focused on small, deniable operations. But with the Vex now alert to sabotage, she needed to strike harder, faster, and in unexpected ways. The tactical display showed the largest Vex installation in the solar system, their command mothership orbiting Mars, the nerve center of their invasion. They'll never expect me to go there, Maya said. Too heavily defended. Too risky. Which was precisely why it was her next target. Maya accessed Phantom's specialized weapons systems. Unlike conventional military vessels, Phantom carried tools rather than weapons, nano-disruptors that could infiltrate crystalline technology, quantum beacons that could transmit undetectable signals through subspace, and most valuable of all, a prototype phase bomb designed to temporarily shift a target partially out of phase with normal spacetime. Plot course for Mars, Maya ordered. Continuous quantum displacement. Minimal power signature. As Phantom accelerated toward the red planet, Maya recorded an entry in her personal log. Day 247 since Earth's fall. The Vex believe they've conquered humanity. They think we're beaten, broken, and hiding. They're right about the hiding part, but they've overlooked something important about humans. We're at our most dangerous when we have nothing left to lose. And I'm going to remind them of that fact. Maya closed the log and checked Phantom's systems one last time. The quantum displacement field operated at peak efficiency. Her weapons were primed. Her mission was clear. One human, one ship, and the Vex never saw it coming. Turning the tide. The Vex Hunter Squadron glided through the asteroid belt, their crystalline sensor arrays scanning every rock and shadow. Maya watched from Phantom's cockpit as the alien vessels passed within kilometers of her position, completely oblivious to her presence. Hunter Squadron Vex 317 reporting sector clear. Maya's translation software interpreted from their communications. Proceeding to Sector 42B, 8 hunter squadrons now patrolled the outer planets, searching for the mysterious saboteur disrupting their operations. They hunted shadows while Maya prepared to strike at their heart. The red planet grew larger in her viewport as Phantom approached Mars' orbit. The massive Vex mothership dominated the view, a crystalline structure the size of a small moon, glittering with internal lights and surrounded by a defensive perimeter of smaller vessels. "Scan defensive grid," Maya ordered. Phantom's sensors mapped the complex web of detection systems, weapon platforms, and patrol routes surrounding the mothership. Under normal circumstances, infiltrating such defenses would be impossible. But Maya had spent months studying Vex patterns, and she knew their weaknesses. Supply vessels approach from Vector 227. Phantom's AI reported. Defense grid modulates to allow passage. Maya studied the rhythm of ships entering and leaving the mothership. Every 43 minutes, the defense grid adjusted to allow supply vessels through, creating a 3-second window where a small ship might slip past undetected if it remained in the exact shadow of the larger vessel. "That's our window," Maya whispered. "Calculate approach vector." For 2 days, Maya observed the mothership's patterns, refining her approach. On the 3rd day, as a massive crystalline hauler approached the defense grid, Maya made her move. Full quantum displacement, match velocity and trajectory precisely. Phantom slid into position behind the hauler, perfectly aligned in its sensor shadow. The massive vessel's bulk masked Phantom's subtle distortions, even from the mothership's advanced sensors. Defense grid modulation in 3, 2, 1. The invisible barrier of energy fields and detection systems parted for the hauler, and Phantom slipped through the gap, maintaining perfect position. Sweat beaded on Maya's forehead as proximity alarms silently flashed. They were meters from being detected by the hauler's own systems. Once inside the defensive perimeter, Maya guided Phantom to a maintenance dock on the mothership's underside. A blind spot in their security she had identified from previous scans. Using specialized docking clamps, Phantom attached to the mothership's hull like a remora on a shark. "Begin phase harmonization," Maya ordered. Phantom's systems adjusted the quantum displacement field to match the crystalline frequency of the mothership's hull. Within minutes, the field extended to create a phase corridor, a passage through which Maya could physically enter the mothership while remaining undetectable. Maya donned her specialized infiltration suit, itself equipped with limited quantum displacement technology. The suit's systems would keep her partially out of phase with normal spacetime for 30 minutes, enough time to accomplish her mission. "Maintain position and stand by for emergency extraction," she instructed Phantom's eye. "If I'm not back in 40 minutes, execute Contingency Protocol Alpha." The phase corridor opened like a ghostly tunnel extending into the mothership's hull. Maya took a deep breath and stepped into it. Inside the Vex mothership, crystalline corridors stretched in every direction, pulsing with internal light. Maya had studied the likely layout from external scans, but now she needed to find the central command node, the heart of Vex operations in the solar system. Her suit's sensors detected the strongest energy signatures 3 levels up. Moving through the ship was surreal. Vex drones and workers passed within meters, their crystalline bodies glittering, but none detected her presence. The quantum displacement kept her just slightly out of phase with their reality. After navigating a labyrinth of corridors, Maya reached a massive chamber filled with pulsing crystalline structures. Clearly the command center. Vex operators moved with precise efficiency between workstations, their movements mechanical and coordinated. Maya carefully placed the first of her quantum beacons behind a primary energy conduit. The tiny device, no larger than her thumbnail, would transmit every communication, every command, and every bit of data processed in this chamber directly to Phantom. 4 more beacons were strategically placed throughout the chamber, creating a complete surveillance network. With 10 minutes of phase time remaining, Maya made her most daring move. She approached the central crystalline node, a massive structure that appeared to be the primary interface for the entire Vex command network. From her equipment pouch, she removed a specialized device, a quantum virus designed to infiltrate crystalline technology. With steady hands, she attached the device to the node. Once activated, it would remain dormant until triggered remotely, at which point it would temporarily disrupt the entire command structure, not destroying it, but creating confusion and communication failures throughout the Vex hierarchy. As Maya finished, a proximity alarm on her suit flashed silently. A Vex commander, larger and more ornate than the others, was approaching the central node. Maya froze as the alien entity passed within centimeters of her position, close enough that she could see the intricate patterns within its crystalline body. For a heart-stopping moment, the commander paused, its sensor arrays pulsing with increased intensity. Had it detected something? The quantum displacement wasn't perfect. At extremely close range, there might be subtle distortions. The commander moved on, resuming its predetermined path. Maya exhaled slowly and checked her phase timer. 5 minutes remaining. Time to leave. The return journey through the labyrinthine corridors seemed to take an eternity, but finally, Maya reached the phase corridor and returned to Phantom. As the ship detached from the mothership's hull and silently drifted away, Maya allowed herself a small smile. Quantum beacons operational. Phantom's AI confirmed. Data stream established. For the next 3 weeks, Maya remained in Mars orbit, analyzing the wealth of intelligence flowing from her beacons. The Vex command structure was laid bare before her. Fleet movements, resource allocations, defense protocols, and most importantly, their strategic plans. One discovery stood out above all others. The Vex operated as a hive mind, but their communication relied on specialized frequency patterns. Each Vex unit received instructions through quantum entanglement, but the entanglement itself was coordinated through 5 primary relay stations positioned throughout the solar system. If those relays were disrupted simultaneously, the entire Vex command structure would collapse, at least temporarily. It would be like cutting all the neural pathways in a brain at once. Maya sent encrypted transmissions to resistance cells throughout the system, coordinating the most ambitious operation of the war. For the first time, she wouldn't be fighting alone. On the designated day, Maya positioned Phantom near the Mars relay, the most heavily defended of the 5. Simultaneously, resistance fighters prepared to strike the other 4 relays on Earth, Venus, Jupiter's moon Ganymede, and Neptune. All units report ready, came the encrypted confirmation. Awaiting your command. Maya armed Phantom's primary weapon, the phase bomb. Unlike conventional weapons, it wouldn't destroy the relay but would shift it out of phase with normal spacetime for approximately 6 hours. During that time, the Vex would be cut off from their command structure. Execute Operation Blackout on my mark. Maya transmitted. 3, 2, 1. Mark. Phantom's phase bomb launched toward the Mars relay. Across the solar system, resistance fighters initiated their attacks. Within 30 seconds, all 5 relays were neutralized. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Through her quantum beacons, Maya watched as confusion spread through the Vex command center. Without guidance from the central mind, individual Vex units froze or moved in erratic patterns. Defense systems powered down as their control signals vanished. Second phase initiated. Maya transmitted to the resistance. All units begin primary targets. Across the solar system, human resistance fighters emerged from hiding to strike at previously untouchable Vex installations. On Earth, they reclaimed military bases and weapons caches. In the outer planets, they sabotaged mining operations and fuel depots. Maya's target was the mothership itself. With its defenses compromised, she guided Phantom directly to the command center and deployed her remaining phase bombs, not to destroy, but to disrupt and confuse. For 6 precious hours, humanity fought back against their oppressors. When the relays finally re-established connection, the damage was done. Nearly 30% of Vex installations had been destroyed or captured. Their perfectly ordered invasion had been thrown into chaos. Most importantly, humanity had proven the Vex were not invincible. 3 months later, Maya stood on a ridge overlooking what had once been Seattle. The city was still largely in ruins, but human activity had returned. Provisional buildings rose among the rubble, and the sound of construction echoed across the landscape. A resistance leader named Takashi approached, offering a datavat. Latest intelligence from our operatives. The Vex have withdrawn from 3 more sectors. They're consolidating their forces. Maya nodded, studying the report. After Operation Blackout, the war had changed fundamentally. The Vex no longer controlled the solar system unopposed. A coordinated human resistance, armed with Phantom's quantum technology and the intelligence Maya had gathered, fought in every sector. Their command structure never fully recovered, Maya observed. They're adapting, but slowly. The ghost of Mars, Takashi said with a slight smile. That's what most people call you now. Stories about you have spread everywhere. Some say you can walk through walls. Others believe you can turn invisible at will. Maya looked up at the sky, where distant flashes marked ongoing battles in Earth orbit. Myths and legends have their uses, but this fight is far from over. No, Takashi agreed, but for the first time since the invasion, we're winning. Maya's communicator signaled an incoming transmission from Phantom, still her home and primary weapon. New intelligence from her quantum beacons inside the remaining Vex installations. New targets, new opportunities. I should get back, she said. The Vex are regrouping near Jupiter. We need to disrupt their efforts before they establish a new command structure. As Maya walked toward her shuttle, Takashi called after her. They never saw it coming, did they? One human in one ship changed everything. Maya paused, looking back at the rebuilding city, at humanity's resilience and determination. No, she said quietly. They never saw us coming. And that was their biggest mistake. Hours later, Phantom accelerated toward Jupiter, its quantum displacement field rendering it invisible against the stars. Inside the cockpit, Maya Chen plotted her next strike against the Vex. The war would be long and difficult, with victories and setbacks. But one thing was certain: humanity would never surrender. One human, one ship, and a species too stubborn to be conquered.